Hello, it is I,
Mrbeast!
from Ohio. Today I will be teaching you about ionic bonding. Please pay attention or I will kill you. Let's begin. Okay, so previously in atomic structure we learned that metal atoms lose electrons to become positive ions with stable electronic configuration. Here is a sodium ion as an example. We also learned that non-metal atoms gain electrons to become negative ions. Here is a chlorine ion as an example. But wait, where did these electrons go to and come from? The answer is, they go to each other. The electron lost by the sodium atom to form the sodium ion is gained by the chlorine atom to become a chlorine ion. This results in ionic bonds, which are strong electrostatic forces of attraction between the positive ion and the negative ion. An ionic compound is formed. In this case, the ionic compound will be known as sodium chloride. It can be represented using dot and cross diagrams too. Like this, the chemical formula of sodium chloride is NaCl. Now, I will teach you about the chemical formula of ionic compound. The chemical formula shows the number of atoms and type of elements in a compound. To derive the chemical formula of an ionic compound, we must first identify the charges of various ions. This is an example. The positive metal ion, X, has a charge of +1, while the negative non-metal ion, Y, has a charge of -1. We will combine them to form the chemical formula, XY. Now, I know you guys are very lazy, and you don't want to draw the dot and cross diagrams all the time just to find the charges of the elements. But luckily for you, there's an easier way to find the charges of any element using the epic periodic table. We know that in the periodic table, there are 18 groups. Well, these groups can be used for identifying charges. Group 1. Elements have a charge of +1 group. 2 elements have a charge of +2. Group 13 elements have a charge of +3. Group 14 elements have no charges. 15 elements have a charge of -3. Group 16 elements have a charge of -2. Group 17 elements have a charge of -1. Group 18 elements are noble gases. They already have a stable electronic configuration. They're actually like gods of the periodic table. Good job! You have learned how to draw ionic compounds using dot and cross diagrams. And you have learned how to identify charges to get the chemical formula of ionic compounds. Well done! Here is a legendary, epic, delicious, cool Mrbeast burger as a reward! Actually, I need to teach you the properties of ionic compounds too. So let's go into that. When millions of ions are held together in ionic bonds, it forms a giant ionic crystal lattice structure. This is how ionic compounds are formed. This is how sodium chloride's giant ionic crystal lattice structure looks like. Each sodium ion is surrounded by 6 chloride ions, and vice versa. Ionic compounds have really high melting and boiling points. This is because a large amount of energy is needed to overcome the strong electrostatic forces of attraction between the oppositely charged ions. Thus, they have a high melting boiling point and usually remain solid at room temperature. Also, solid ionic compounds cannot conduct electricity, as the ions are held in fixed positions in the giant ionic crystal lattice structure. This means that they are not free to carry charges. However, they can conduct electricity in the molten or aqueous state, as they are no longer held in fixed positions in the giant ionic crystal lattice structure. Thus, they are now free and mobile to carry charges and conduct electricity. That is the end of the ionic bonding lesson. I hope this video has convinced you that ionic compounds are the best and the most powerful.
You don't want to be like this. This is disgusting. This is awful in every way. If I could kill it, I would. But I legally